started to really identify some things that you've looked at when we had that exercise. You closed your eyes, you thought about work. Sometimes, in some instances, when that actually happens, is that you might think about your safety at work as being an issue as well. But if you look at a definition, and this was from the Encyclopedia of Occupational Health and Safety, all forms of aggressive or abusive behaviour that may cause physical or psychological harm or discomfort to its victims, whether they be intentional targets or innocent bystanders, involved only impersonally or incidentally. That's quite it's a big definition, isn't it? So if we break that up, all forms of aggressive or abusive behaviour that may cause physical or psychological harm or discomfort to its victims. So what do you think that's trying to say around workplace safety? If you look at that definition, it's identifying something there. It's identifying that it's abusive behaviour, and also harm and discomfort. So if we think about you at work and you've got a client there who's subjected to DFE and they've got their partner there, possibly that partner then displays violence as well. They're going to do that, going to discomfort, they're going to cause harm. They're going to also have that abusive behaviour. And also, if we think about that in another respect, it could also mean that there's somebody at your workplace who's subjected to DFE, and like Andrea mentioned, that person who comes in and has lunch with that particular lady at lunchtime may also be displaying harm to her. The second part of that is whether they be intentional targets. So when we think about the DFE, whether they're intended to actually harm that person, or innocent bystanders, which are you as frontline workers, only involved only impersonally or incidentally. So you're there as somebody who's with that intervention and you're working through safety planning. Another example, we actually heard in one of our sessions a lady who was she was a nurse, somebody not in the hospital who was subjected to DFE because of mandatory reporting, and that nurse, unfortunately, somebody identified the nurse to the actual partner, and then continually there was violence because they would follow her to the car. They would threaten her for life, threaten other people close to her, until that person actually, she contacted the police. There was a lot of things happening, but from the conversation we had, it seemed that she had to leave that occupation because of the stress associated and the harm also that she just felt, and there were so many triggers as well, because he kept coming at her time that she finished work. So when we think about that, the communication there is confidentiality. So sometimes
that's what happens with us. We make confidential reports, and the next day the parent will come in and abuse the girls.
Yes.
And most of the time they're surmising that it's been us that's made it.
Yeah.
But last week she uses us because the USH service, there's only 12 kids in it, and she's got a caseworker anyway. So the caseworker has
Okay, so somebody else had said something. Yeah, definitely. And that just puts everybody at risk, doesn't it?
Most people in this room are a bit too young to remember, but there used to be attacks at the family law court and bomb threats, and so often because of, escalated when it went to the family court, and so family court, if you ever go there, it's a lot of security, you get screened now for that reason.
Yes.
So a lot of innocent people actually got impacted by that.
Wow, yeah, most definitely. So it's good that it's actually it's impacted on that. Definitely. What else do you think when I say workplace violence? What do you see that?
Management, other staff members.
Yeah, definitely. Bullying in the workplace. Yeah. What about even if people they're talking about those attitudes, like they might have an attitude about domestic and family violence and they're talking about something, or they might be laughing about something that was on the media that then might impact another person there who could be subjected to DFE or could trigger back from something within their childhood, or something that has affected them. So about the culture of the workplace, it's about supporting, it's about ensuring that if somebody does say anything like a sexual joke as well in the workplace, could actually mean bullying, also workplace harassment, but also triggering and affecting somebody subjected to DFE because they might not know that they are. So the person might not know, and that person sitting there hearing things that trigger their own situation at home. There's lots of different things that workplace violence can actually mean. So also employees experiencing domestic and family violence. So within the population of women who have experienced violence or currently experience violence, ABS estimates that between 55% and 70% are currently in the workforce. It's quite a large number, isn't it? And that is approximately, when it's actually added up to 800,000 women, which is 1 in 6 women within a workplace subjected to DFE. So that's quite a large number. What are your reflections about that number? Seeing that number, 800,000 women, or 1 in 6, are experiencing, and could have been, might be subjected, or could have been subjected to it prior, and triggers and everything that's actually happening to that person. So that's from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and again, that would be reported as well. So there's a lot of things happening in workplaces that possibly that person does not feel safe to disclose about their domestic and family violence situation because of fear of repercussions, fear of mandatory reporting children, fear of so many different things, and those barriers that we looked at yesterday as well. So okay, what we're going to do now is just have a discussion about what can actually happen in your workplace if it's a violent situation. So things like staying calm, taking a neutral stance, maintaining distance, minimal eye contact. What else do you think helps when you're in a situation where somebody, their behaviour has escalated, they become quite angry, you feel threatened that you're going to be harmed? What else do you think might support your safety in that environment?
You've usually got policies and procedures in place, like we've got the safety cards and things like that.
Okay.
And alert people.
So you've got
that
safety
you're in.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. We're going to have a bit of an exercise in a minute, writing down what your workplace has. So that's wonderful to
We
hear.
have duress alarms.
Right.
So either they're often in a spot, like in a room, where you can access them, or we also have mobile ones that you can arrange.
Oh, wonderful. That's good. Good procedures. Yeah.
And it goes straight to security.
Great.
We've got a phone app
Find out.
that takes a photo of you and the person around it, and it sends it to 3 people, and everyone's got on their phone.
We've got Stay Safe.
Stay safe.
No, this is easy.
No,
This
that
is
one
easy.
yet? I like yours.
Yeah.
Have they
It's
fixed
on
all the
your
bugs
phone.
in that one
It's
yet?
on everybody's phone.
That one went off when I was sitting in the office.
Really?
Yeah.
That's right. What do you have?
You
We've
pick up the phone,
we've all
you
been
just
trained in
press it 3
non-violent,
times,
non-crisis
and
intervention training, non-violent
Right.
crisis intervention training, predict, assess and respond, so using the environment around you to respond.
Okay. Brilliant.
What else? We've got our duress calls, so hey, yeah, no, it's Lauren. Hey, no, it's in that red folder. No, you gotta ring Judy Black. Give Judy a call. Give Judy a call.
Yeah, great. So code words. So you've got code words.
That's
One.
no code, everybody has the same code.
Yeah.
And that's what I use is red folder.
Red folder. Code words.
People are trying to stay safe. It
Everything.
went off once because it sends a message,
Yeah.
and your phone starts and an alarm goes off. And I was in a meeting and it made a lady really agitated because I don't know why it was going off, but there's an alarm from the top.
We actually
We're going to have a bit of a discussion on that too. So you've got some things in your workbook that we'll talk about that. What about things like, it's not here, like having that exit door? I know yesterday we talked about some people going in and they normally sit at that chair close to the exit. So important to be near a door that's exit, that you can exit. I've had lots of clients that they close the door. So what I do is like they lock it. I say, oh look, I'd rather just a bit of that fresh air. And I'm somebody that, it's quite warm in here. Just let's leave that door open a bit for fresh air. Because sometimes when you go to homes, when I worked in the community development for all those years, I was by myself for quite a lot of the visits. And if you go in, you don't know what's going to happen. And a lot of the times I think the referrals that come in, they actually do not always put down that person might need 2 people, because again, they might be frightened that you might not go and see them or take them as a client or accept the referral. So sometimes you're going into places and you don't know.
So we always meet out in the community.
Great,
Where you
okay.
can, for
So
an
you meet
initial-
in the community.
Yeah, we meet in the community. In saying that though, all our referrals come directly from New South Wales Health,
Okay,
from
great.
the community mental health team. So they've already done
They've already done
done the
referral,
risk assessment. So if we've got 2 out, it's 2 out.
Right.
Male only, female only, female.
Wonderful, because communication is so important, isn't it? communication in this type of environment, because you just do not know what that particular person, and about the needs of a person too. When I worked in a group home, there was a person who particularly only liked one certain type of food, which was a chicken nugget. This person had autism and other disabilities, and if it wasn't the right brand, that would flare them into an angry, violent situation because of their disability. So this was not written down, that it was a different type of food. It was not, there was no communication. So you have your day sheet where you write down what the person has or what you've brought. So they were in plastic bags, like freezer bags. So it was actually I gave him the food straight away. There was plates, glasses, things just completely thrown at myself, and then 3 others in wheelchairs. There was physical violence, and there was other staff in that area. But there were staff that had just started that day, and some casual staff that did not have experience, I feel, around challenging behaviours within disability field, and some were friends of staff. So they ran, and I thought they were running to the office to get the phone or to do the contacting and getting help, but they locked themselves in the office and left me outside, and left all the clients with that person in that violent situation. They locked themselves in. So I then just had to quickly think, what am I going to do? He liked to go, he liked the hose and the water in the gun, so I took him outside, opened up the door, and gave him the hose while he's just being violent the whole time. But he took the hose, and then he's hosing. I watched him and blocked the screen door so I could see him and know that he was okay, but then check on everyone's injuries. One woman had to be taken to hospital because of the injuries to her stomach, that she was just hit, while these other staff were running away. It was just an awful situation to be involved in, but the communication that, not only communication with the staff and not enough skills to be able to present in that environment, the fear that they had, but the communication of how vital that is to say, this is what we couldn't do today, or please don't give this to this person today. So it really does show communication is so important. So these are things that we need to know: communication, all those things. So have a look in your books. It's on page 93. So we'll have just a couple of minutes to write down. And if you work with the person next to you, please feel free to talk with that person you work with. What do you currently do, or what's in place to ensure employees are safe while you're at work? So what do you do at work now to keep staff safe? And is there anything also that you might change? Anything from discussion, even today, that you might take back to your workplace? And then we'll talk about that.